The Solo Show is brought to you by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com.
A crew of murderous pirates is coming. We have to hurry. Are you listening to any of this?
We're listening.
Oh yeah, what did I just say?
Are you listening to any of this?
Let's go!
You wanted to search the buffet.
We're not searching the buffet!
Hello, and I have the exact same two questions. One, do we have time to search the buffet? And two, are you listening to any of this? Welcome to the Solo Show. I am Stan Solo, as always, and joining me today are my two co-hosts. We got Patrick.
Good journey.
What does it say? Stowaways on board. Stowaways on board.
Stowaways on board.
So we're talking Skeleton Crew Episode 1. This could be a real adventure. And Episode 2, way out past the barrier. Also joining us is Food Fairy Kris from the Grand Circle Tour podcast. Patrick, how are you doing today, my friend? What were your thoughts on the Skeleton Crew Episodes 1 and 2s?
I tried to temper my expectations. I didn't want to get too excited about it going in, but after watching them, I'm really liking it. I'm loving all the little Easter eggs and things that they're hinting back to other properties that we can talk about. I'm liking it all.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this as well. How about you, Food Fairy Kris?
Okay, I've been holding on to this emotion for like 3 days now, so I know that I wasn't a 12-year-old boy when Star Wars first came out. I was 19. So, I was beyond probably their not target audience, but probably a little bit beyond. And being female on top of it, I was an oddity back then. But when I was watching these 2 episodes, I turned into a 12-year-old child.
12-year-old boy.
Whether it's boy or girl, I mean, I was so into this. I just could, like, from the very first minute that it started, I was like, oh man, I could just picture myself doing that at that age. And it was just awesome. So if they keep this up, this is going to be a great series.
Yeah. They hit 2 home runs right off the hop, I think.
Yeah.
What about you, Stan? What did you think?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I couldn't be any more happier with how the series is going. By the way, we're going to go spoiler free up until a point, and then we're going to get into spoilers. Kris, you know how you say you're a bit of an oddity because you were 17 when it came out? 19? So my sister was one that actually got me into Star Wars, and she would have been 22, 23.
Okay.
Around that age, and she was one that bought me my first Star Wars comic books and my first Star Wars action figures, and she was a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a Canadian thing. I told friends that I was going to see Star Wars, and they're like, ew, how dumb.
Well, I know plenty of female Star Wars fans that are older than I am, and for them, seeing Leia totally kick butt in all 3 movies in different ways, they loved it. Carrie Fisher is just, pinnacle.
Yeah. I have to say though, that it was definitely a boys group, a boys club growing up. There wasn't too many women or girls around when I was growing up that were into. I mean, maybe because you were older, my sister was older, that they appreciated it more.
Maybe,
but girls my age were not Star Wars fans generally. Anyways, we're not here to talk about the 1977 Star Wars and New Hope. We're here to talk Skeleton Crew. Okay, so I think that's about enough for spoiler free. We don't want to spend too much. We want to get to the meat and potatoes of the show.
Well, hold on. Without spoilers.
Okay.
Without spoilers. Name some other properties that this is reminding you of, that you've just gotten hits of it as you're watching it?
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and one thing I really hate the term is the Disney Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like it's a negative thing when they say, "Oh yeah, that's Disney Star Wars."
Yeah.
They often I hear that a lot. Hey, listen, if it wasn't for Disney, there'd be no Star Wars. Bottom line.
That's right.
So quit your complaining about Disney Star Wars. But I gotta say, this is the most Disney type Star Wars I've ever seen. I think if you're a Disney fan or you're an ET fan or an 80s fan of those type of movies of like and the Goonies and the Backlot, those type of, with a group of kids, you'll be a fan of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Super 8. I got hits of Super 8. Did you guys see that movie?
Yeah.
But that also hints back to the same sort of Amblin style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then let's see. Without spoilers, who of the 4, KB, Fern, Wim, and Neil are your favorite? And then we can talk about it at spoiler full later.
Well, okay, that's a tough question because I honestly like them all. I mean, the action figure I want to get obviously is Neil. Everybody's going to want a Neil action figure. I mean, when you can't help but love the guy. He just has adventure in his eyes, and KB was the one we know the least about.
Right.
She's pretty quiet.
Fern is the one that I am interested to learn about her backstory, specifically because, like, what about where she lives and her situation has her instantly doing and saying the things that she says, right? Like, she goes
taking
hard.
charge too, really.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of getting into spoilers.
Yeah. I just wanted to, tease.
The other thing too, I guess I could say that is spoiler free, is the only complaint that I've seen from anyone. I've only heard one complaint, and the episodes are too short. That is the only, especially the second one, because you're just settling in and it's over. There's 22 minutes or 23 minutes.
Yeah.
That was the only complaint that I had heard. And I kind of have to agree with, it's like a sitcom length. It's, so it's a quick watch for people that want to, experiment and dip your toe into the Star Wars universe. I think this is a great place to start.
You can watch them and you can watch both episodes in under 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hear from Victor Naraki, serving Disney in the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. So, Victor, take us away.
Hello, I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and at one time I had created a search for you online for homes near Disney World. I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to my brand new website. Same name, new functionality, celebratingflorida.com. If you're still looking for property near Disney World, please take a look at the website. If it's a future wish, visit disneyatyourdoorstep.com for all my social media links. Thank you, and hopefully we will talk soon.
Okay, we're back. All righty, we're going to get right into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen Skeleton Crew Episode 1, this could be a real adventure, or Episode 2, way out past the barrier. You might want to pause, watch those, unless you don't care about spoilers. It doesn't matter to me. It's up to you. What do I care if you get spoiled?
We've given you enough time to watch.
And some of the spoilers might be for things you don't even think you're going to get spoiled on, because this guy right here is a pretty big Star Wars nerd, and I have theories.
Alrighty. So I kind of want to start off at the beginning where, traditionally the Star Wars movies has the opening crawl, and the TV shows generally don't, but this one kind of had a crawl-ish.
It had the blue text. It had the patented 1, 2, 3, 4 ellipse at the end. Which is grammatically incorrect, but Star Wars uses it. And then the first thing you saw was a ship in space, right? Like it felt very Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, last week when our predictions were saying, is this going to feel like Star Wars? Because it seems like it's going to be held a lot not a lot, but we felt the first episode would be in a residential neighborhood. Bang, right off the hop, we're right into Star Wars.
Yes.
I like the opening crawl, for lack of a better term, the blue text. Since the fall of the Empire, the New Republic has maintained order, and yet remote hyperspace routes are increasingly plagued by piracy. These pirates boldly brand their armored hulls as a sign to all ships, surrender or die. And we go right into bang, a big pirate ship taking over basically a cruiser.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess. And that whole space battle was phenomenal.
Yeah. It was very fun. Yeah. The bridge, the front of that ship, the nose, as soon as it came on, looked very similar to the nose of this ship, actually. And then as it got past, you're like, oh no, it's not that.
Pointing to your hat and saying this ship.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm looking at you guys. Sorry. The very front of the ship that was getting attacked looked a lot like the front of the Star Cruiser, the Halcyon. But then, of course, as it backs away, it's totally not that. It's just it's similar design, right? It's Star Wars. They're going to have certain aesthetics. But this is the first time we've seen boarding quite like this. This is pretty cool.
Well, we've seen boarding before where they had those ships that kind of had like the big drill almost in them that kind of just hammered into a ship and then opened up and they were able to board that way.
But that was droids, wasn't it? That was in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That was droids. Yeah. So it's the first time that we've seen like life forms doing this. And some of the stuff, the guys that were flying out in space in suits, blowing up the turrets, that was so cool.
And I guess it makes sense because if they were to say blast those turrets, the shrapnel could hurt their own ship. So it made more sense just to send pirates out, kind of like how pirates would swing from one ship to another ship. They were swinging basically on ropes to the other ship and
that was my exact thought when I saw that.
And if you want, I can go through a list of things as we go through that are like, this is a reference to this. This is a reference to this.
Especially A New Hope. There was so many references to A New Hope in that opening scene, which is awesome because so often Star Wars, it'd be like Star Wars would be, I don't know, they like to mimic another movie series. You know what I mean? Like they tend to do that a lot. Like, oh, like this is like Casablanca, or this is like, you know, these, I don't know, different movies. It's nice to see Star Wars mimic Star Wars.
Yeah.
For a change.
Yeah, I mean, even the way that they were speaking, because then of course we meet the captain who comes on board, and then his helmet looks just like a triangular pirate helmet hat. And when he's speaking, he mimics what Vader says in A New Hope.
Yeah.
If this is a consular ship, then where is your ambassador? If this is a freighter, then why is your cargo hold magnetically sealed? Like it's the same structure. Yeah.
Well, and even magnetically sealed harpens back to New Hope when they were in the trash compactor, and Han shoots the wall, and Luke says, "I tried that already. It's magnetically sealed."
Yeah.
You know, put your blaster away. that it's like a lot of references to A New Hope. Those even like when they were boarding and the sound effects and the guys on the ambassador ship or the bulk freighter, just the way they were looking around really reminded me of how the rebels were looking around when the Vader ship was boarding.
Yep.
So from there we cut to Wim and Neil, who are two best friends. And huge Star Wars fans, by the way.
They are.
Yes,
they are
very, very much so.
No,
they got the action figures, and they play with lightsabers, and they got comic books. Yeah, they're big Star Wars fans.
Well, and let's pause real quick, because when Wim is given his money by his dad, this is your lunch money for the week, he gives him Republic Dactari. I know that doesn't mean a lot to everybody right now, but that's what Qui-Gon Jinn tried to use 50 years before. So why is this dude running around giving his kid Republic Dactari from 2 governments ago? I got questions. Okay, continue.
So my initial reaction on that was that, well, Watto didn't want Republic credits because it's an Outer Rim territory and that money's no good here. It's like people trying to spend yen when they come to Canada or to the United States. Well, we don't take yen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
go to the bank, exchange it, then come back.
Right. They were taking whoopee, which is what the Hutts used.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my initial thought. But we find out that, nobody takes these credits anymore. Like, this is like somebody coming in and spending
A Spanish doubloon.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody coming with a Spanish in mint condition, like it was just yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the residential neighborhood. What are your? I wanted to go over some thoughts. I know, like, there was a bit of talk about in Andor how Cyril ate cereal every morning.
Mm-hmm.
We're back to the cereal again.
Yep, back to the cereal, and not green milk, not blue milk, gray.
Yeah. I think that's what happens when you mix the blue and the green together.
Yeah, maybe.
It actually is, and it's
But the whole like neighborhood actually reminded me of a futuristic California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It, almost like Walt wanted Epcot to be.
Yeah.
Kind of.
everything ran on a track. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Everything was on tracks. Everything was manicured perfectly, except there'd be like less hills in Florida.
Yeah.
With Epcot. I thought the school tram needed safety lights. I thought that was very irresponsible of them.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that it was a Rex droid driving the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
And they stuck the gum on the back. Oh, who did that?
He's got like 15 of them already back. They're in colors. You get to see your classroom again. Of course, we've seen that with Mandalorian when Grogu had to go to school for a day.
Did you notice what they were studying? All of everything that they were studying was one subject. It was
Wim was playing, making Jedi figures on an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yes. But like everything that they were supposed to be studying, I listened to on my second watch. I was listening to what the teacher droid was saying. Mm-hmm. It's all math. It's all matrices. It's all like accounting and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I have questions.
And it's a different type of math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had Mr. Incredible here, he'd say, "Math is math. There is no new math." I like that in the background there when they were kind of walking through the schoolyard, those kids playing dodgeball with a training remote.
Mm-hmm.
The remote hits that one kid in the forehead. This is the dumbest game ever. Like, what is playing this game? It's shooting them. Okay. So the houses had a very 50s futuristic look to them as well. Like the whole neighborhood had that World of Tomorrow.
Yep. And even the speeder bikes had tassels on the end to make it look just like, I don't know. I mean, these days you would say Stranger Things.
There's castles in space. What can we say?
Yep.
I like even the stairs were like, what was that TV show, that sitcom? Oh my gosh, 8 is Enough or whatever. They had it had a kind of a mod look.
Oh, yeah, with the separations.
Yeah, like there's one railing in the middle.
Yeah. Brady Bunch.
Yes, that's it. That was the one, the Brady Bunch home. It kind of reminded me of that, that look. Speaking of the schools, the teacher talking about the big exam, or the droid rather, and going over the rules while keeping your eyes on your own desk, no data pads, etc. I think my favorite line was when the droid says, "And if you have to use the refresher, remain seated and utilize the desk controls." So they basically have a potty at their desk. Is what it is, because as we learned from the first Mandalorian season, was the refresher is the restrooms. You need to use the refresher. Stay at your desk and use your desk controls. I don't know if I want to know about that or not. I don't think I
want to know.
How does this work?
Well, not that I want to know about it, but it does bring up many questions. Like, where are all the adults that are these children's parents, and why are they all okay with their kids using these facilities?
Well, different rules, different places, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is. But But the thing is, okay, does one desk work for every species? Like, does one, like, you know what I mean? I thought that was always a misstep at Galaxy's Edge, was the refreshers or the restrooms or the bathrooms, whatever we want to call them. How the toilets and the urinals are Earth toilets and urinals. They should have some alien ones in there, just because.
Just because.
That would be funny. Well, you know, like say it's out of order, but for a different species. You know, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. When riding his bike through the forest, very Return of the Jedi looking.
Yep. I got hints of E.T. as well, just because I remember flashes of moving through the forest in E.T.
Yeah.
With that leaning log and how he goes underneath that leaning log. Luke and Leia basically did that exact same move. The word wizard was used a couple of times. Bringing back to episode 1.
Yep.
Now, my favorite of all the Easter eggs of the 2 episodes combined has got to be Neil's twin siblings watching the reruns of the holiday special.
Yes.
Yep.
On the hologram. As soon as I saw that, I immediately recognized.
I started cracking up. I was watching that. That was just so funny.
Some of the other ones are pretty good. Like it's hard for me to pick any particular one. I don't know. Maybe I'm partial to SM33, but I love SME. Like that, just that designation. Just I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But then SME is also, well, SM33, excuse me, is also styled very much like the droid from Captain EO. Mm-hmm. And then there's a creature from Captain EO that shows up in it as well. So like they're doubling down on that one. And then the wee ferryman is from the Ewok Adventures.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yep.
I missed that
little
one.
like furry creature thing that's talking to him is from the Ewok Adventures.
Wow.
So they're reaching
Teak,
it.
was it? That wasn't
What's
Teak.
that?
That wasn't Teak.
Yeah, that's a teak.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that. Because Teak was played by an actress, whereas this one is a marionette.
Yes.
Yeah. But Teak was played by an actress because Wilfred Brimley refused to play second to act with a puppet. So they had to get they originally were going to use a puppet for Teak in the Ewok special. And Wilfred Brimley was like, "No, I'm not acting with a rag doll. Like I'm not doing that." So they had to get an actor.
That's funny.
So let's get back to the story.
Yeah.
So Wim finds a ship that he thinks is a Jedi temple. And it turns out it's an old pirate ship, and somehow they get it going. Basically, I like how he knows something's going to happen if he pushes that button, that flashing blue button. But he doesn't know what's going to happen, but he knows something's going to happen. But he pushes it anyway.
Yep.
And for anyone who is hesitant about watching a show that's about and starring kids because you just don't know how you're going to feel, I think this example is a great example of the difference between this show and what you're afraid of. If this were a show that you don't want to watch, it would probably be, oh, I shouldn't push that button, but I'm going to anyway. And they would say it all out loud, right?
Yeah.
All of this happened internally in Wim. But right? Like it's all internal dialogue that you see on this kid's face. Yeah. And then he does it, right? Yeah. So he's still a kid. Yeah. He's still going for the adventure, but it's not childish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even when they do blast off into space, like Wim seems to be okay with it. He's actually excited. Like the other ones, they'll want to go home
for an adventure. I mean, he really was. I mean, look at his life, how boring it is. You know, his dad's never home. And when he's home, all he does is like yell at him. And so he was ready for something new.
Yep.
So
yeah, well, that's just it. He walks Neil home, and Neil has like 3 siblings, and his mom and his dad is there. Whereas Wim gets home and he's by himself. When he gets
they don't even have a droid at home. It's just him.
Right. I never even thought of that. Get the kid a droid, Dad. Come on. You know.
Yep.
The entire planet is surrounded by a barrier. The barrier blocks the view of stars, and I think the barrier also blocks the planet from everyone else.
So this is one theory that I've heard that I'm interested in. In the books, in the High Republic books, there is a planet that we know of as Planet X. And this is a planet where these force-eating monsters come from that the bad guys use to attack the Jedi, right? But when you try to get there, there's something that blocks you from getting in, and a lot of ships don't make it. And then if you do make it, it's hard for you to get out. And the search for Planet X is actually the name of one of the YA novels. It's hard to get there. It's hard to get out when you do. And I'm wondering, like, Lena So, who was the chancellor of the High Republic in the time of these books, did she figure out a way to calm that thing down and then set up AT-ATA as a base of some sort? Like, that's, oh man, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where my brain goes. Cause like I've read so much, I've seen so much. I want to link it all together.
So this is well before episode 1, then you're talking.
Oh yeah. Hundreds of years. Yep. Yeah. Hundreds of years.
Interesting.
But they used the Republic Dactari at the time because it was the same currency.
Okay, makes sense.
Like, is this a bank or is this a treasury? Like, is this the Fort Knox of the old Republic?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's almost like the planet itself is a character.
Yeah.
Because we find out that what do they call it? They call it the planet of treasure, or eternal treasure.
Eternal
planet of eternal treasure. That's like kind of the big mystery. And I'm kind of thinking, last week we were talking about, well, they're only going to be on this planet for the first episode than the last episode. I'm beginning to think they might get to this planet quite a bit sooner. They might get home sooner than we think.
There might be a bigger mystery at the planet.
Yeah. And not only are they going to come back, several pirate ships might come back with them. Is what I'm thinking. As far as getting out, it doesn't seem that hard. All you got to do is push the blue button to get out.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting how the kids never really saw stars before.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of when I was a kid, my best friend moved to the city. And of course, he made new friends and whatnot. His grandmother still lived in the same small village as I did. And so he came back for a weekend or whatever during the summer with his friend. Well, his friend never seen stars before, being from the city. And of course, where I grew up, we saw the Northern Lights every other night, and there was more stars than you could imagine. Yeah, I will never forget how the kid was just in awe of, the kid, he was the same age as me, just in awe of the stars. I just thought it was kind of weird. So they get onto the ship, they get past the barrier, and they take off into hyperspace.
Yep.
Somehow Gilligan, Wynn, gets them out of hyperspace.
Yep.
End of episode 1.
Yeah.
That's basically the show. I guess there was the whole, we didn't even talk about Fran or KB really that much. They were introduced, of course. You mentioned to Fran, is it Fran or Fren?
Fern.
Sorry, thank you. Fern, she comes up with the weirdest morbid stories.
Yes.
At the drop of a hat.
That's why I want to know more about her.
Come from?
Her mom is that like undersecretary that we meet in the first episode. So she's this like supervisor, and this is her kid. Other things I've learned by listening to some podcasts: Fern's jacket that she wears is her school jacket turned inside out, and she's put patches on it. So where did she get an oversized school jacket? And then I've got so many questions about this kid. She's cool. I like her.
She's kind of bullyish a little bit, but not like extreme. But right. she wants to be in charge. Win. That is for sure.
Yeah. She definitely wants to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she kind of has a Han Solo almost attitude and stance about it, like the way she stands and whatnot. It reminds me of the way Han Solo would stand.
Yep.
I thought, and the whole thing with why is it always power converters that they need?
Yeah.
Man, open up a power converter shop if you're ever in the Star Wars universe, because everybody needs one of those. They sound like hotcakes.
You'd make a fortune in those credits.
Yeah. And then KB. I guess she's like a lobot.
Yeah, like a low baby.
I like her. I think I'm hoping that character is going to develop a little bit more as things go on.
She seems kind of like the Donatello, kind of like the what's the name of the character from Goonies. Oh, he's got all the gadgets in Goonies.
I've only watched Goonies once, to be honest with you.
Oh,
So I'm not going to help you out much.
It's Ke-Huy Kwan's character. I can't remember the name of him off the top of my head. Damn.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I think she's like part robot, like how Lobot was.
Yeah. Well, like with an implant.
Part
Yeah,
droid
with an implant.
Yeah, like she has implants. So it's gonna be interesting to see where we go with this. I like how she was in the in the bottom of the ship, like in the cogger. I guess we're kind of like where Han hid himself, and Luke and Leia and Chewie. He goes, "Where's KB?" And she pops up.
Yeah,
and pops down again. Okay, so part 2, we start off there's right where we left off. They're still in hyperspace. They come out of it. They could have really made this just one episode, honestly. It would have been a little bit longer. Maybe that one complaint everybody had with that their 2 episodes were too short. Well, maybe a long episode would have been just right.
Longer. Yeah.
And so we're introduced to Smee, or SM-33.
Captain, stowaways on board, Captain.
He was a little bit too piratey for me, almost to a point. I don't know if there's a character I'm going to be like, I don't know about this.
You can never be too piratey, Stan.
Yeah, it was basically they took one of the animatronics from Pirates of the Caribbean, took the skin off, and they went, "There we go, we got our pirate."
And do you know who voices SM-33?
I did hear it, like
it's Nick Frost, who he was in all of those British comedies along with Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, big name actually,
and good comedic timing too. He has,
yeah.
So a friend tells me that she killed it. He's looking for the captain. That's his number one concern when he gets powered up is to look for the captain as the most comes out of his eye.
Yeah.
is to find the captain, and friend says, "I killed the captain. I'm the captain now. You're my guy. You're my droid." and when I went, "Hey, I want to be captain." Well, you have to kill her. You guys can fight it out in a duel.
Yeah.
As a member of the crew, you can challenge to the death.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. I'm good.
I don't need to. Did you think her stories are going to get them in trouble later?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's going to go after something.
I still hope that they can take it in a fun direction. Like she'll go one step too far in one of these lies, but it'll be to someone that we know, like Hondo. And Hondo is going to hear it and be like, "Nah, I know you," or something like that, right? Like that's what I hope, because if she goes too far with the wrong person that we've already met, like that Wolfman, if she were to lie to that guy, end of story. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. She tells SM-33 to take them to Aden, back to their home planet, and he has no knowledge of this planet, even though that's the planet he just came from, which is kind of interesting. Did they crash there by accident, or were they looking for the external, whatever the treasure? And it sounds like they must have been there for a really long time, because there's trees growing on top of that ship already.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like how when she says, "Take us to Aden," and he starts naming off a bunch of planets that he thinks they might be talking about. He's like, "Are you talking about Atalana, Alcor, Aldelan?"
Aldani. He says Aldani.
Aldani.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I am when I talk to my Alexa app. Are you sure you don't mean Aldani? Are you sure you don't mean? I can't find that. That scene where and then Wynn's dad, was his name Winford or Wilford or something?
Well, Wilford, I believe.
Wilford?
Yeah. So Wendell. Excuse me, Wendell
and Wynn. Anyways, the dad comes across those 2 droids. You kind of get the impression that this might not be the perfect utopian society, with these 2 droids kind of like investigating what this disturbance was. They're saying, "Hey, you can't be here." And he says, "My kid got in a ship and took off, through the barrier." And he goes, and they're like, "This is a serious violation going through the barrier." They tell him, like everything is like, "You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that." Like they kind of got the people under their thumb. So what's your thoughts on that? What's going on this planet is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that's on the surface.
Kris, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that if this planet is this special planet of eternal treasure, that there are people there that know about that, and they don't want anybody to find out about it, and that's why they don't want anybody to leave. Hence, nobody's going to find out. So
you need to figure out some kind of math equation to find the treasure.
Yeah.
That's why everybody has to be good in math on this planet.
Yeah.
What do you think, Patrick?
I'm still like, after hearing that theory, that I think, oh gosh, I think it was a guy named Mike Forrester who had the idea that it was this High Republic repository that was set up that was kind of secret, and eventually if like the wrong person perishes in an attack and they don't give the secret to anyone else, it's lost, and who knows. I think it might be this like secret repository that has sort of like survived on their own because they're on a planet that can be self-sustaining. But at least that's my idea.
It's like a biodome almost, this planet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I also love that Neil. I mean, I know we talked about Neil, but when the kids do get to the place, we haven't quite talked about where they get to yet, but when he gets there, they open it up and he goes, "Look at all the aliens!" It's like, whoa, guy, like everyone's aliens.
Well, that's just it. Like we see a few aliens on the at Ada.
Yeah, there's Rhodians, and then whatever species Neil is, there's humans, and then they have the species, whatever species is that Neil's crush is, and I don't know what species that is.
I've never seen anything like that before. That was kind of new to me.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been some mingling going on in that planet over the over the centuries, and we got some.
If they can't go in or out of space there, then I guess we don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah, the dating pool's kind of small on this.
Yeah.
in this city. I like how Wen goes to push the self-destruct button.
Yeah.
And Smee says, whoa, stop.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't push that button. So at what point is he going to push this button? Because we know he's going to push it. That's his foreshadowing for sure.
I'm guessing it'll be the finale.
Yeah, it could be. He's going to, they at some point he's got to push that button. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
So Smee takes them to Port Borgo or Bargo.
You mean Port Royal?
Port Royal?
Port Royal.
What? Or Tortuga? What? Which one?
What?
I'm naming all the places that it reminded me of: Tortuga and Port Royal.
Oh, okay.
Both from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. They say in Port Borgo you will sleep well in a soft bed or a shallow grave. At what point is he going to say, "Dead man tell no tales"?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for him to say that. Like, that's his next line. He was very piratey and everything.
Very piratey with a peg leg and everything.
Yep.
Even the music was very Pirate of the Caribbean sounding. Coming into this port.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on Borgo that we find out that at Aden. Is it at Aden or is it ATATIN?
It's ATATTA at Ada.
Yeah, but you know the whole AT Walker or AT Walker. Yeah, is it at Ada or is it AT Ada?
Oh man, that was so good. It was above my head.
Anyway, it doesn't take long for the kids to get into trouble. First of all, they split up somehow. Like they're all going
together, and then all of a sudden they're all gone, and she's standing there by herself.
And the boys settle up to a noodle bar because they can't go to a real bar.
Yeah,
but they go to a noodle bar, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to pay." Oh, pay. And then again, they try to pay with like Roman gold or Spanish doubloons. This guy's like, "Whoa, where'd you get?" And then, of course, now they've got a crowd.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then they run around and get into more trouble. You see Vane in the background. This is when you also see Brutus, who is the Wolfman, the captain. Mm-hmm. And then Gunter, who is Jaleel White, who is Urkel,
Yeah.
is in the background. He's one of the pirates as well.
Well, they had a close up of him too later as well. Yeah, the actor that played Urkel was one of the pirates.
And now I got to watch again.
But they get caught and thrown into the brig.
Thrown into the brig.
Yeah,
and when they first go in, did you hear the whistling?
I did not catch that.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So, like, can you get any more on the nose?
The only thing missing was a dog. They should have just put the key in a dog's mouth.
Yeah,
or one of those creatures from Jabba's planet or something.
Well,
that would have been funny.
Did you guys see Rescuers Down Under?
Uh-huh. Long time ago.
One. Remember when they're in the cages and they send that one creature and they're like, no, that one.
Right. That's right.
It's like we're doing the same thing with the mouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, everything in this show is a reference to something else. Sometimes people say that that's not original or inventive. I think it's really hard to do well, and they're doing it very well.
Yeah.
So,
See, I knew I saw that somewhere before, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But now that you said it, yes, that's exactly where it is.
Yes, Frank.
Yes. I love that movie. Okay.
So the kids are in the brig. I guess that before they go into the brig, SM gets shot.
Yep.
Yes.
Gets disintegrated, basically.
I don't think he's going away.
No.
Well, yeah. They can't get rid of him.
No, not that fast. Yeah.
Did you notice that when he got shot, they said something about pirates, and the kids go, "What? We're just kids." And as he's getting shot, he goes, "Can kids not be pirates?"
That was funny.
Oh man, like it's so well done. And then we finally meet face to face, right? With our big reveal of a character, right? Mm-hmm. And do we think that was him in the first episode? Like,
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so he was the original captain of the Wolfmen and that gang.
Yep,
it has to be. I mean, that's why.
When you listen to him talking in that first episode, you could tell. So if you had seen any of the previews for this, then you would know right away.
And we're talking about Jude Law, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I guess the question is why, if he can get the key, it seems like he's been in that brig for a long time.
Yeah.
Or is this the first time they actually hung the key up? Normally they keep it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. They never put the key there before.
That's a possibility. Or he didn't have a way to get out, and these kids showed up with a ship, so now he has a way out of the off of the port.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it could all be a con. Because if he. We haven't said it yet. He floats the key across the room. Yep. So is that real? 1, 2. If it is real, why didn't he do it before? 3. Is it fake? Could be fake. And then if it is real and he's a Jedi, why was he the captain of a pirate ship hurting people? Oh man, so many questions. Like, how old is he? What? Like, when?
Yeah. Yep. Well, first, this is my theory. I think he's a Force user, but I don't think he's a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Broom Boy could use the Force to bring the broom to him.
Yeah.
In whatever that stupid movie was. So he could use the Force. Plus, when the key comes to him, you hear the Force theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was George Lucas's favorite theme song of all the. My favorite one is the Force.
I'm wondering if, because it's so much on the nose, if they're trying to misdirect us, or if they're just saying, no, this is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll find out, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like you were saying, like with Chernik being a user of the Force, but not a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I've started to think about, like, we don't know how people age in the Star Wars universe, but if we're at like 9 ABY, let's say he's just Jude Law, probably playing a character that's late 40s at this point, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that he was born, I don't know, like 30 before. So we're talking he's older than Skywalker, just barely. No,
No, he looks younger than Luke. That's for sure.
No, I meant like Anakin. No, he would be younger than Anakin. Yeah, he would be slightly younger.
Mm-hmm.
But why wouldn't, if he was a Force user, why wouldn't he have been picked up?
Mm-hmm.
But then Disney Star Wars, as you said, Disney Star Wars has already started giving us answers for that with books. Like if you're a Force user and you can't pass the trials after you become a Padawan, and you can't become a Padawan until you pass a trial and get a master. So if you wash out at that point, well, you can stay here and do stuff, but you're not going to get trained.
Mm-hmm.
So like he could have been one of those people.
Well, the other thing too is who else is a Force user? Sith.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's a failed Sith.
Could be.
You know,
I'm
thinking it's the Force. I'm thinking it's the Force because he because of the music. That's what I'm basing my.
I think so too. I'm actually listening to a book that came out last year, which is Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blades, which is by Delilah Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a great book, by the way.
It's phenomenal. It's great. And one of the characters in the book, he is essentially a spy for Palpatine in the Jedi palace. He washed out, didn't become a Padawan, but he had these certain skills that the Jedi didn't like. And so they didn't want to train him. But then Palpatine used him for what he could.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we never see him after Order 66. I don't know what happens to him, but what happens to people like that, right? Palpatine doesn't necessarily have a use for them, so why would he attack them? But at the same time, they exist still. So they people like this guy. His name is Jod Nawud.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that, but
he's, who knows? He could have just been a scoundrel who had the Force.
I really doubt they're going to make this Judd be John Wood, because it's just. I think this show is too fun. They're not going to go too much into that. I don't.
Yeah. I think that's going into a serious realm.
This is a fun realm.
My nerdy brain just goes to.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get too much lore or
back away,
history.
Take a breath.
Yeah,
take a breath.
Yeah. This is a hopping on show for people. I don't think they're going to be.
And it really is. It really is that fun too.
Yeah. So Wynn assumes that he's a Jedi. And he says, "Yes, I am a Jedi."
Well, he says, "Can you keep a secret?" And then it goes black.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I can hardly wait. What is it? Tuesdays are coming out now.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Good. And what time are they going to be? 6 p.m. or something goofy like that, or 7 p.m.
See.
Check your local listings. Disney Plus will announce it ahead of time. I think this one came out at 8 Eastern, wasn't it? 7 Central.
Might have been 6, but check your local listings. I don't know what time it is. It doesn't say right here.
Do they have Disney Plus in the hotel rooms?
No.
Yes. I thought they did.
No.
Dang.
No.
I thought you could.
Yep.
I thought you could. Well, you can sign it. You can.
No, I'll
I
have
thought
to
they
watch.
did.
No, they don't. That was one of the things when Disney Plus came out that was when we were talking about Disney Plus was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. They got to put Disney Plus in hotel rooms. When people go on vacation, they see how great it is. They get home, they're going to want to subscribe. Disney never did that. Yeah. Why? I guess it's just too hard to have a streaming service in a hotel room like that for some reason. I don't know.
Well, but if it's just a smart TV,
yeah, you would think.
Then you just set it up so that you have to use a QR code and then you sign in on the app, but then the next person that shows up has to use a different code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
To me, it seems like a no-brainer. It's free advertising for Disney Plus when you're on vacation. But no, they don't have it. But you could, if you have your phone, you could usually stream it with your phone onto the TV or your iPad or whatever.
Right.
Because Kris was not going to be able to join us next week, as you're going to be in the magical world of Walt Disney World.
I am.
Alrighty, and take us away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us about your idea for a show and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Don't forget to join us on YouTube Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central for our live show, where we talk about, well, just about everything to do with pop culture. Like us and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a new show. All logos, songs, music, and sounds that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by the Solo Show podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.